Hitler's Third Reich.
I mean, Goebbels sounds like Margaret Sanger and today's Planned Parenthood and NARAL people when Goebbels talks about useless eaters. Well, it's about the ugliest term I've ever heard, useless eaters, human beings with the spark of the divinity in them. They don't see humans that way. They don't see humans as an engine of creation. They see them as, depriving the earth of resources, useless eaters, or unwanted babies.
So what do you make of the war where the president's talking, Tony Snow, the president's spokesman's talking long-term commitment beyond September. People talk about a Korean-style commitment of a half a century. Is that bad PR?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not very savvy about PR. What I do know is that it would be a disaster if we pulled out, and maybe we could fight the war a little harder. And not keep responding to Amnesty International
more
complaints.
Troops?
I don't think we even need more troops. I think we'd be a little less worried about civilian casualties. I mean, are the terrorists, are Islamic terrorists a more frightening enemy than the Nazi war machine? I don't think so. Fanatics can be stopped. Japanese kamikaze bombers, you can stop them by bombing their society. We killed more people in 2 nights over Hamburg than we have in the entire course of the Iraq war.
Who should we bomb in Iraq?
The insurgent forces. I mean, we did in Afghanistan last week hit Taliban, and what do we hear in the New York Times? Amnesty is crying because some civilians were hit. Well, that happens in a war, and I'd rather have their civilians die than our civilians die.
Do you believe that we win the war on terrorism by killing lots of Arabs on national television? Do you think it helps the case?
I don't know if it needs to be on international television. It wasn't.
It is.
I don't think it makes a difference. I thought you were saying that was like one of the advantages. I don't think it needs to be on international television. But yes, you can destroy the fighting spirit of fanatics. We've done it before. We know how to do it. And it's not by fighting a clean little hygienic war.
What do we do with teenagers now who are, say, 15 years old now who want to grow up to be terrorists? How do we stop them from growing up to be terrorists? How do we win the war against terrorism, in other words?
I think I've just said it. You cannot fight a clean, hygienic war. I think we either have to get rid of this secular religion of FDR, or we have to get rid of the idea of a hygienic war, because that was not a clean, hygienic war, World War II. We killed a lot of civilians, and we crushed the Nazi war machine. And the idea that Nazism, which was tied to a civilized culture, was less of a threat than the Koran tied to a Stone Age culture, I think is preposterous. If we want to win this war, we absolutely could. And I think we've been too nice so far.
Well, the Nazis, we defeated them rather well by going into Berlin, and certainly the U.S. Army and the Soviet Army did that job. Right now we face an Islamic world of about 1 billion people. We face an Arab world of over 300 million people. We don't just face one country.